The full story of Samuel Little. Samuel Little is the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history, having confessed to 93 murders committed between 1970 and 2005. He targeted the most vulnerable women in society, strangling them and leaving their bodies in remote locations. For many years, his crimes went undetected, as the victims' cases were often closed and their deaths ruled as natural causes or accidents. It wasn't until 2012 that he was caught, when a DNA sample linked him to several murders. This led to his conviction and the stunning series of confessions that changed the understanding of serial crime in America. The complete narrative, born in 1940, Samuel Little's life was filled with petty crimes and misdemeanors. He moved through several U.S. states and was arrested dozens of times for various offenses, including theft, assault, and burglary. This long criminal record made him a familiar figure to the police, but they never connected him to any major murder cases. Little began his killing spree in the 1970s, continuing to murder women in different places across the country. He used his constant travel as a transient worker to evade justice. He carefully chose his victims, women who often faced hardships in life, such as sex workers and drug addicts. He knew their disappearance or death might not raise many suspicions, and that police might not put much effort into the investigation. His method of killing was strangulation, which leaves far less evidence than stabbing or shooting, contributing to the concealment of his crimes. The bodies were often discovered later, and the signs of strangulation were frequently misinterpreted as the result of a drug overdose or an unfortunate accident. The turning point, the unveiling of Samuel Little, remained at large until 2012, when he was arrested in Kentucky on drug charges. A routine DNA sample was taken and sent to the National DNA Database. No one expected what would happen next. The database linked his DNA to 3 cold case murders in Los Angeles from 1980 and 1989. Little was extradited to California, and in 2014, he was convicted of the 3 murders and sentenced to life in prison. This conviction was the beginning of the end. After his imprisonment, investigators began visiting him, hoping for additional confessions. The surprising thing was his complete willingness to cooperate. Initially, he confessed to 1 or 2 crimes, then began to detail dozens of others. He remembered the names, locations, facial features of the victims, and even the type of cars he was driving at the time. To confirm his confessions, investigators asked him to draw portraits of his victims. Little sketched dozens of colored portraits with astonishing accuracy of women no one had seen in years, providing chilling visual evidence that they were indeed his victims. Investigators used this information to connect him to cold cases in various U.S. states. By the time of his death in 2020, at the age of 80, Little had confessed to 93 murders, a number unprecedented in U.S. history. The FBI has been able to confirm at least 60 of these confessions, and they are still working to verify the rest. The story of Samuel Little not only hides the brutality of his crimes, but also reveals the gaps that existed in the criminal justice system for decades, and how they allowed a dangerous criminal to escape punishment for so long.